Scotcheroos from 1965. So Rice Krispie treats were invented all the way back in 1939 at the Kellogg's Company in Battle Creek, Michigan, and have since become the most dominant Rice Krispie confection. But 26 years later, they came up with these, a lesser known variant, which we are going to try today. In a big old pan, we're gonna need a cup of corn syrup, followed by a cup of sugar. Excessive. Fire! Bring this to a boil to create a cavity-inducing syrup. Charming. Next, we remove from heat and add in a cup of peanut butter. Mix. Then in goes 5 cups of Rice Krispies. You know, I've never understood America's obsession with breakfast cereals. Whatever was wrong starting your middle school mornings crying over a sad bowl of oatmeal? That was character building. Good old liquid cardboard. Anyway, this is rather dense. In this goes to a 13 by 9. Just cooperate. While that's cooling, we melt a cup of butterscotch chips and a cup of chalky chips over a double boiler. Melt, you get! Just spread it on and cool completely. Yes! Man, these are good. These are better than Rice Krispie treats. Velveeta fudge from 1984. There are a lot of ways to make fudge, most of which aren't as problematic as this, but then again, who are we to fault the 80s? Start with a cup of butter in a heavy pan. I reckon this is a heavy pan. Heavy with the burden of whatever crime it is I'm going to commit. We melt that down with a half pound of Velveeta. Neither scientist nor scholar knows precisely what Velveeta is. It is the occult, the great unknown. Fire! Well, this is already critically disturbing. In goes half a cup of cocoa powder. It's cheesy. Next up is 2 pounds of powdered sugar. Hold on. Yes, I see. It's the whole bag. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I'm not sure how this whole bag's gonna fit in here, Mildred. Her name is Mildred. This is not gonna work. It's not. Oh, no way. Oh, it's alive. Ooh. Finally, you take off the heat and add in some Nilla. Oh, it's like a tumor. To the fridge. Ooh. Man, that's a good fudge. A seafood mousse from 1972. So they describe this dish as an elegant and fancy way to elevate family dinners. However, upon first glance, I would describe it as an ornate pile of Start with a cup and a half of canned crab. I love crab in a can. Yay. Why does it have a diaper? Is the crab diaper integral to this dish? Well, you never know. Cup of celery. Celery, if water was a vegetable. Marinate this in some lemon juice. Tabasco. Worcestershire. My car on a cold morning. Worcestershire sauce. Salt. And onion powder. Now atop a double boiler, we melt 8 ounces of cream cheese in a can of tomato soup. Fire! Now to a cup of water goes 3 packets of gelatin. You knew this was coming. It's like watching a car crash. We move this to an ice bath. Once it's thickened, we fold in a cup of mayonnaise. Whatever you think elevate means is wrong. Finally, our crab. It's just morbid. To the fridge. Whoa. That's fancy, all right. Fancy feast. Some good cat food. A+. Magic cookie bars from 63. So this recipe is so dead simple that even Frank could do it. Hear that, Frank? Yeah, you're dumb as rocks. We start by placing a half cup of margarine or butter in a 13 by 9 pan. I'm using butter because I have standards. Do I? Pop this into a 350-degree oven just until it's melted. Oh boy! Then you just evenly dump in a cup and a half of graham cracker crumbs, a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, 2 cups of chalky chips, a cup of coconut flakes, and finally a cup of chopped nuts. Frank, what nuts do we use? We gonna use Brazil nuts. They don't get enough love, and I'm a lover of all nuts. Get in. Bake at 350 for about a half hour. Hello. You gotta let it cool. Oh yes, these will do just fine. I mean, look at them. For something that is just dumped in a pan, that is bloody genius and tastes brilliant. Ice cream bread from 78. Now I think the best way to eat ice cream is to eat it straight from the tub. However, like the first time I got up close with a man, this recipe has me second guessing. This recipe comes from a cookbook called Cookbook. They were very bright. We're gonna need 2 cups of full-fat ice cream. None of that healthy stuff. What are you trying to do, live longer? Now before we dive in, we need to wait for this to get soft, which is the opposite of what we're used to, depending on what you're diving into. 1, 2. Next we beat in a cup and a half of flour, plus 1.5 teaspoons of floof powder. Boop. Well, this is unorthodox. And then into a greased loaf pan. Is that it? I'm not gonna tell you, oh, there's no way this is gonna work, because it makes sense, doesn't it? Ice cream has your sugar, your flavor, your fat, your dairy, everything. I've just never thought to come up with it. Now it says we can add sprinkles for the children. Screw that. This is for me. What do you take me for? Grown? Look it! Bake at 350 for about 45 minutes. Just check yours with a toothpick. Ooh, ooh. Oh man, Frank. Perfectly sweet and soft and marvelous. Ooh. 2 ingredients. 2-ingredient pumpkin quickies from 65. Yes, it's officially pumpkin season, which means people are whipping out the boots with the fur and trying to snag any wayward bachelor within 100 meters. But it also means baking! First is a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Release the gourd. And the last ingredient is a box of spice cake mix. Pioneered in 1951 by Mr. Duncan Hines. This is him right here. He looks like if you get a tattoo, you'll be written out of the will. Missionary only type of guy. Now we just mix. Well, these definitely are quickies. And I would know. Like draft dodgers, I don't see much action. That's why I'm called Drive by Dylan. $3.50 for roughly 12 minutes. But just watch them. Whoa! Cookie! A traditional cookie? No. Soft, cakey, and very pleasant, yes. Your pumpkin spice is already in here, you just added the pumpkin. Is it cheating? Yes. But cheating tastes good. Glorified rice from 1909. We start by cooking a cup of rice. Fire! Are you ready for glory? Cool down the rice gently. Opposed to what? What am I gonna use, a leaf blower? Now for 8 ounces of pineapple and 8 ounces of candied cherries. But there's rice. We quarter the cherries in half. Quarter the cherries? You're gonna make me stroke out. Precisely what realm of mathematics do you inhabit? Finally, we need a cup of heavy cream. I don't like where this is going. And a half cup of powdered sugar. Then we gently whip this stiff again with the gently. How do you gently whip cream, you tart? It's like saying gently have a car accident. Then you just fold everything together. Get it! Oh, not the rice! What is this? To the fridge. Now I'm told that this stuff is still brought to potlucks in the Midwest. Oh dear. I find that remarkably uncomfortable. People still bring this to functions for consumption. That would give me consumption. A pinto bean cake from 55. I don't even know what to say about this one. We start by draining 2 27-ounce cans of pinto beans. So I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Now we put 1.5 cups of peanuts through a grind-o-mat. Where did the peanuts come from? What's a grind-o-mat? Are you all right? Put the beans in the grind-o-mat. This is not, how can I say, right? Oh no! Ay, senor. Pesadilla total en la cocina. 3/4 cup of honey. To this baby food looking refried funeral? How did you come up with these ingredients? Did you just throw a grenade down aisle 6? 5 egg teeth. Now the chickens are implicated. What is this? Make sure to clean your grind-o-mat. I'm not concerned about your precious grind-o-mat. Lastly, we have half a cup of melted butter and 2 teaspoons of floof powder. Yeah, good luck with that. Only thing this is gonna rise up from is the dead. Catastrophe de bonen. 45 minutes at 375. What? It's a cake. How? You have no right! Soft, dense, rich? No! This is phenomenal. Almond milk from 1965. Now, I didn't know you could just make almond milk until I found it in the miscellaneous section of this here encyclopedia, and lo and behold. Our first step was to cover a cup of almonds in cold water overnight. Good night. Good morning. Then we discard the water. Put the almonds in a blender, adding to it 4 cups of fresh water. Then we blend for about 3 minutes. Yeah, it's milky. Now we need to strain this to prevent bits of nuts from getting into the milk. You could use a tea towel or some cheesecloth, or something literally called a nut milk bag, though that's normally used to prevent children. This feels familiar. And bam, that's almond milk. I thought it was a lot more complicated than that. If you want it sweetened, add some sugar. If you want vanilla, add a bit of nilla. I mean, it's almond milk. Good almond milk. So if you have some almonds in a blender, go to town.